everyone, my name is Becca and welcome to my channel, Botanical Becks. This channel is going to be about all houseplant things. I have a focus on this channel about keeping houseplants an affordable hobby and really teaching you guys that you can have a jungle in your home and not have to spend a lot of money. I try to keep everything that I'll talk about and teach you guys about really accessible so that anybody can own houseplants, and that's something I'm very passionate about. You guys are probably wondering what my street cred is and why I think I can make a YouTube channel and teach people about houseplants. So I actually used to work at a greenhouse and I got to do a lot of cool things there. Mainly it was perennials and annuals. We did have some houseplants, but not a lot. I always had houseplants growing up in our home because of my mom. She is the OG plant queen, and she has a house full of plants, and she always has. When I went to college, I really wasn't surrounded by plants anymore. I didn't work in a greenhouse, and I was really missing the joy that plants brought me and the stress relief. So I started getting into houseplants in college and getting more and more, building my collection throughout the years, and now I have a pretty big collection and know how to take care of a lot of different types of plants, so I really want to be able to share that with people. I really enjoy being able to teach people how to propagate, teach people how to take care of their plants and have their plants thrive in their home. It's something I really enjoy, and that's the goal of my channel, is to share my knowledge with you guys and just create a little plant community. So today's video is going to be my top 5 beginner houseplants. So these are my top 5 houseplants for beginners. Let go. The first plant we're going to talk about today is Pothos, or a lot of people call it devil's ivy because it's pretty hard to kill. There's a lot of different varieties of this plant, different leaf shapes, colors, variations to it, and there's really one for everyone. I have a lot of different Pothos in my home. They really give you that jungly vibe. They can grow really big. I have a big one outside of my porch. They just fill up space. The first variety I have is the golden Pothos, which is definitely the most common. You can really find these probably anywhere, and that's this one right here. Every golden Pothos though really does look different. That's why I actually have a couple, because even though it's the same plant, the variegation really looks different on each one based on how much light it gets. Pothos are actually variegated, most of them. I think there is a solid green, but variegation is when the leaves are not one solid color. They have 2 colors in it. Normally it's green and white. Different plants have different color variegation. The next one I have is kind of small. It grows a little bit slower, but that is the Mandula Pothos. This one has more chunky white variegation, so there's more white patches on it. The more light you give it, the wider it turns normally. Same with the golden Pothos, you'll get more variegation the more light you give it. Next one is Marble Queen Pothos, and that one is a little bit more white, but it's the speckled variegations. It isn't as sectoral as the Mandula, so the white is a little bit more mixed in, and we have some really cool leaves on this one. This one, the same thing, it'll get more white leaves with the more light that it gets, but even if this is in a little bit lower light, it'll still put out really gorgeous leaves with variegation on it. And the final Pothos that I want to talk about today is actually the Cebu Blue Pothos. This one is definitely the most different out of all the ones I have. The leaf shape is a lot different, more elongated and pointy at the bottom, and this plant really does have a blue sheen to it. For Pothos care, like I said, these are all beginner plants, so it's really easy. They take most different types of light. The brighter light you give it, the more variegation they'll put out. If they are variegated, the quicker they will grow, and you can get the leaves to be a little bit bigger. They can survive from high light all the way to medium light and to low light. No plants will grow with no light at all, but these plants will put out new leaves in a dark corner. They can be in the middle of your room, they can be up in a window, really anywhere that you need a plant, you can put this plant. And seeing how heavy it is, when you know the plant is dry, watering the plant until it just starts to come out of the bottom and you see it in the saucer. Excess water is kind of sitting over in the tray. Make sure you dump that out so the plant's not sitting in water. Pothos really only need to be watered when their soil is completely dry For me, that's about once every week, but some of my pothos I can definitely get away with not watering for about 2 weeks. But like I said, really just feeling the pot, seeing how heavy it is when it's light, seeing how heavy it is when it's dry, really getting to know your individual plant and when it needs water. The leaves on pothos will start to wilt a little bit and droop when they do need water, so that's another great sign. I love vocal plants that tell you when they need water and tell you what they want. The next plant is the ZZ plant. I see these in a lot of people's homes if they just have a couple houseplants. Normally this is one of them because they are so easy and hard to kill. The way the ZZ plant grows is there's little rhizomes down at the bottom. They kind of look like a little potato. They store a lot of their water down in that little rhizome potato, and so they really don't need water often at all. I would say they need watered honestly once a month, and you can really leave these alone. ZZ plants are considered low light plants. They really can live in a darker corner of your home, perfect for a low light or medium light situation. This one I got here was $24.99, which I thought was kind of expensive for a pretty common houseplant, but I really do think prices are going up right now because so many people are getting into houseplants. The two different varieties I have are just the standard green ZZ plant. This one is what you're gonna find at Lowe's, Home Depot, your local nursery, wherever you shop for plants. This is the Raven ZZ, which is the black version of the ZZ plant. This one has definitely gotten nibbled up by my cat. These did come out at Lowe's. They were harder to find for a while. Lowe's did release them, and that is where I got mine from. Third plant I'm going to be talking about today is the snake plant. These are also known as mother-in-law's tongue just because they are so sharp and pointy at the end. Snake plants are also another plant that I see in people's homes when they normally only have 1 to 5 plants. Snake plants almost look fake to me, and the care is honestly like they're fake too. You really don't have to do much for them. I think people just normally think of the standard snake plant kind of like this one, but there are so many other types of snake plants. Snake plants can do well in a variety of different lightings, from bright indirect light to low light. I water mine probably in the summer every 2 weeks and in the winter once a month. This first one I really like. It's very unique. It's the samurai, pretty small, fat leaves. I like that one. This is more of just your basic snake plant. And then here I have the cylindrica. This is actually one of my oldest plants. It doesn't grow that fast because I do keep it in a really low light corner. And this is a really unique plant. Fourth plant I'm going to be talking about is the heartleaf philodendron. This plant I really like for the same reason as the pothos, as far as it really takes up space, gives you that jungle look. It's trailing. A lot of people love trailing plants. I know I do. This plant will really thrive in bright and direct light. The more light you give it, it'll produce bigger leaves. I wouldn't recommend putting these in low light just because they are a little bit more slow growing than the pothos, so you won't be getting much growth out of them if they aren't getting a lot of light. Heartleaf philodendron is another very vocal plant, so it really will tell you when it needs water. It will start to kind of droop down, and you will notice that it's not looking as perky as it normally is. That is normally how I know when to water these plants. If they're just starting to droop a little bit, then I, again, will just give them water. Sometimes, again, I stretch these and only water them every 2 weeks, especially if they're in ceramic. The type of pot your plants are in does make a big difference on what type of water that they need, so that will be a future upcoming video. There are a couple different varieties of heartleaf philodendron that I have. My first and most favorite type of heartleaf philodendron is the Brazil philodendron. This one should be easy for you to find. A lot of people have big plants of this, so it's easy to find cuttings for sale, or again, trade cuttings with someone. But it does have that kind of neon pop. Each leaf really looks hand painted and unique, and that's something that I love about this plant. The next variety of heartleaf philodendron I have here, I'm not 100% sure on the identification because there are multiple different varieties of this plant. So if you actually know what this one is, please let me know down in the comments. But for now, I'm going to call it cream splash because I think that is what it is, or cream stripe. And it has more of a creamy white splash variegation rather than the neon green that the Brazil has. The last two varieties I'm going to talk about, I have potted up together since they need the same care and I was running out of pots at the time. So this is probably the one you're going to be able to find most easily, and it's just solid green, but again, gives you that jungle vibe, long and trailing plants. to fill up space. The last variety I have is this lemon lime philodendron. Super bright, definitely gives you a pop of color. Not a lot of plants have this color green on it, that chartreuse green. It really will brighten up my plant shelf once it gets growing, and I'm super excited for that plant to get big and long and trailing. So that's all I have today for the heartleaf philodendron. The fifth and final plant that I'm going to be talking to you about today is my favorite, Peperomia. By far one of my favorite types of plants. There are so many different varieties of Peperomia. I feel like my face is lighting up right now just talking about them because that's how much I truly like them. So the care for Peperomias does kind of depend on what type you have. Most of them are more succulent that you're going to be able to find in Lowe's and Home Depot. They really need a well-draining soil, not a lot of water, to be honest. The main thing people get wrong with Peperomia is watering. These plants need to be in a well-draining soil. They do not like to be sitting in water or anything like that. They will rot. I water my Peperomias once a week. I would definitely err, like I said, on the side of underwatering with Peperomia. What I like to do is, again, really feel my plant, feel the pot. I know that this probably is due for a water. I know that because the plant is really light right now. So when you are testing your Peperomia to see if they need water, if you kind of fold it up and the leaf snaps, which you don't want to snap it obviously, but if it feels like it's going to snap, then that means that it's probably full of water and you can skip on the watering for that week. If it kind of just folds up, then it is probably ready for a water. If you guys have any questions about Peperomia specifically or would like to see a video all about Peperomia plant care and to see my collection, please like this video and comment down below. Lighting that Peperomia needs depend on what type of Peperomia it is, and the more succulent varieties can tolerate direct light. I will also do a video all about lighting in the future. You guys have that to look forward to. For the different varieties that I chose to focus on today, the first one is the Peperomia polybottria. This one has gorgeous, huge leaves. I'm obsessed with this plant. It looks a lot like Pilea peperomoides, but I actually prefer this one because the leaves get larger. This is definitely one of my top favorite Peperomias. Next plant is Peperomia meridiana. Again, another very easy variety. I water this one about once a week and it's super happy. This one is the ripple Peperomia. This is probably a Peperomia that you're gonna be able to find in your big box stores. Peperomia caparata. There are a lot of different varieties of this plant: silver, black, green. They have a pink version, a lot of different types. This one is actually a baby that I grew from one leaf, so you can propagate all Peperomias really easy, which is another reason why I love them. But this one is just a little burgundy ripple, I believe, that I propagated. It's growing super fast, putting out new leaves a lot, and I keep that one in a north facing window. This guy right here is Peperomia ruby cascade. This is a trailing Peperomia. I recently put this one into water because it was kind of struggling, and I realized that it actually had no roots on it basically, so I'm putting it in water to try to get more substantial root system. I know I said the polybottria was actually my favorite on this table, but it's actually the Incana. I kind of forgot about this one. This Peperomia kind of has a blue sheen to it and has that fuzz on the leaves. You're probably looking at it close up right now so you can see it a little bit better. This one does attract my cat hair. This one is a little bit succulent. This is a Peperomia I hardly ever water, I feel like. I have several of these plants. I really just can't get tired of them. They're cute if they're big, they're cute if they're small. If you can get your hands on this Peperomia, I would really recommend it. The last Peperomia that I'm going to be talking about today is probably the most common, and that is the Peperomia obtusifolia. This plant back here, it actually comes in a variegated form. I dare to say that you can find this or the variegated version where you are locally at Lowe's, Home Depot, local garden centers, anywhere that you can find plants. I would hope that they would have one of these. This Peperomia has large succulent leaves, so I don't have to water this one too often. This plant still puts out healthy new growth even in the middle of my living room, not getting that much light at all, just a little indirect light from all the windows in there. And the variegated version is just as beautiful. I might insert a picture here just so you guys can see it, but that one is just as readily available as the solid green. They're both beautiful, super easy Peperomia. Definitely, this is the Peperomia I would recommend out of all. If you're going to just get one, this is the one I would start with. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you learned something, and if you're a beginner houseplant collector, I really hope that you kind of have some direction now on how to get your collection started with some really easy and beautiful plants. I know this video did come out a little bit later than I originally expected. I actually had to have surgery on my knee and then fell and had to have surgery again. So I am immobilized a little bit right now. This video, it was a sitting down kind of talking video, but I will be doing a lot of different types of videos. Plant shopping with me, filming my plant chores, educational videos. I will be showing you guys the plants in my house, how I have them set up. My channel is definitely going to be beginner friendly. So if you guys want to learn more, please subscribe to my videos. Subscribing is the easiest way for you guys to support me. Share this video if you learned something new. Share it with your friends on Facebook. Share it with your houseplant friends. Put it on your social media. Me and my friends have been working really hard to get quality content out to you guys, and it's something I've become very passionate about. I want to teach you guys a lot about houseplants, and I hope we have a lot of fun along the way. I will be putting out new videos every Monday, so if you guys want to kind of make that your day to do your plant chores, water your plants, repot your plants, and watch my videos and learn something, I think that would be super cool. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them down below, or you can also follow me on Instagram at botanicalbex, and you can DM me there. My DMs are open. Comment on my pictures. I just would love to engage with you guys in some way. Each video really will be building off each other. All right, guys, I think that's it. So thank you so much again for watching this video, and I will see you next week.